Hi, welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you Seeds of Serenity, passage number 4. So this is the book that was just newly released. I think it was on my birthday, June 13th. And this is volume 1. I have volume 2, which is the sobriety edition that is being released July 20th. And then I have the anger edition being released in August. I'm currently working on the anxiety edition. There'll be 12 altogether. I can't guarantee when they're going to be completed, but that is the plan. Let's go ahead and get into the reading. Cultivating Patience. I struggled with anxiety for most of my life, and like many who struggle with anxiety, I wanted relief and I wanted it fast. Unfortunately, my inability to have patience resulted in some unhealthy ways to escape the discomfort of my anxiety. When I first began therapy and started to learn new tools and strategies, I would sometimes become frustrated that I wasn't getting better or improving fast enough. I eventually learned that healing isn't a race, it's a journey. That shift in perspective changed everything. Whether it's in our relationships, careers, personal growth, or even mundane tasks like waiting in line or dealing with slow traffic. Patience allows us to approach life with grace and resilience. One of the first steps in cultivating patience is shifting our mindset about waiting. Instead of viewing delays as inconveniences, we can reframe them as opportunities for mindfulness, self reflection, or even gratitude. For example, when stuck in traffic, rather than feeling frustrated, we can use the time to practice deep breathing, listen to an uplifting podcast, or simply observe our surroundings with curiosity. It doesn't mean that you don't get frustrated. It means that you recognize that the frustration isn't really productive or beneficial, and then you shift your focus to something that is more beneficial. These small moments of intentional stillness help retrain our minds to see waiting as a natural and even beneficial part of life rather than an obstacle to be avoided. Patience is also deeply connected to emotional regulation, another one of my personal challenges over my life. Impatience often arises when our expectations don't align with reality. When we expect someone to change faster than they're ready, when we want immediate results from our efforts, or when things don't go according to our plans. Learning to release rigid expectations and embrace flexibility can significantly increase our capacity for patience. This doesn't mean we become passive or indifferent. Rather, it means we trust the process, acknowledging that everything unfolds in its own time. Practicing self compassion is key here. Just as we extend grace to others, we must also learn to be patient with ourselves as we navigate growth and setbacks. Ultimately, patience is not just about waiting, it's about how we wait. When we cultivate patience, we create space for deeper understanding, stronger relationships, and greater inner peace. Instead of being reactive to life's inevitable delays and setbacks, we become more adaptable, allowing us to move through life with greater ease and resilience. Patience is not just a virtue, it's a pathway to serenity and wisdom. And so, again, like I mentioned earlier, it's not about denying the frustration, right? Or trying to push down the frustration, just like with anxiety, trying to push it away or forcefully get rid of it. A better approach is to just shift your perspective and focus on something that's more productive, to engage your attention in something that is going to serve you better. So, for example, yesterday when I kept getting frustrated because I kept getting interrupted with trying to film this segment, I eventually, rather than getting frustrated, I eventually just said to myself, you know what? There's a reason why I'm not supposed to film this today. So I'm just going to let it go and I'm going to focus my attention on something that's more productive and I'll do it tomorrow. So that worked for me in that moment, recognizing that me just getting upset and getting frustrated was not really solving the problem or helping me at all. So moving on to the daily practice, because with each devotional, after each devotional, I provide some writing prompts that you can use to help you to, it just helps, at least for me. I like journaling, I like writing, so it depends on whether you like to or not. It helps me to process my feelings, situations, learning to understand concepts better. So the morning reflection is to notice areas of impatience in your life. What triggers cause frustration for you? Because once we start to recognize the triggers, then we can get ahead of it, so to speak. We can start to strategize ways in which we can handle those triggers differently, more productively, in a healthier way. The prayer for peace: ask God to help you embrace patience and trust in divine timing. Gratitude practice: list 3 times when waiting led to better outcomes. Daily affirmation: repeat the affirmation, I trust the process of life. I am patient. Moment of silence: reflect on a moment when you practiced patience. Serenity breath prayer meditation: breathe in stillness, breathe out restlessness. With each inhale, cultivate patience. With each exhale, let go of urgency. Be still and know that peace unfolds within me. Okay, so that's it for today's reading from Seeds of Serenity. And I hope you have a beautiful, blessed, and a sober day today. And I hope that you'll join me again for the next video.